Welcome back to another episode on CBM Ignitions. In this episode, I will be talking about renderer for the basic game engine series. Without any delay, let's get started. What is a renderer? What are its functions? If you ask that, basically a renderer is a function that needs to print objects on the screen layer by layer. Let me take a game. Now I have a game in this laptop. For I have to print the game for one frame. Now what I'll be doing, I'll be printing the background first, so it will go at the back. Then later on I'll be printing the foreground, so it will be printed over the background, right? This is what a renderer must do. It should print the objects in the screen layer by layer, so the objects can be placed one over the another. That's what we are going to implement today in today's class. Before we proceed, for this class you need a basic understanding of Lua table. If you don't have any previous understanding, then you will get to know about Lua table at your level base at the end of the session. Anyway, for starters, I'll be explaining you about Lua table now. In Lua, i- Lua is famous for its tables, and in Lua you can create a table just like this. A table is created. In this table you can have values like integers, floats, functions, or even another table. For example, let me say table dot value equal to 5, table dot another equal to another table, ant, table dot ant equal to another table, then table a few function, this is function shortcut, function table dot print. This way you will be adding function to a table, and you can pass this table from function to function, so it will be easy in the perspective of adding layers for a game engine. Okay, with that I'll be showing you the code now. This is where we left off in the previous video. Now let's get started. Now I need a renderer. Before I create a Lua file for renderer, let me create a folder called bin. As you all know, binaries are the folders where all the important stuffs are kept in. All the important stuff of a game are kept. So I'll be adding my own binaries. I mean important files. I'll be naming this file as renderer.lua renderer. Okay. Now renderer, a table called renderer and renderer. So when you call renderer.lua, it will return the renderer which I have created, the table renderer which I have created. Now let's add some functionalities to this renderer. Renderer dot create. Now we call this renderer create and okay, let me make it another table called renderer smaller. I'll be returning the value. So I'm returning this value and renderer create function is called. Now this renderer is the main thing. Now I will be adding layers for this renderer. Renderer dot layer equal to table. I have a table called layer now. Now let me initialize the number of layers we have to print. Mm, okay, let me get the argument while creating, while calling renderer dot create. So we can decide it in the main function. So I'll be receiving number of layers an integer. Okay, now we're having for one, two number of layers. I'll be creating tables for this layers. Renderer dot layer of I. So I'll be creating a table with the index I for all the layers. I mean index of the layers. Now if index is 1, then it will be the first layer. Now if the index is 2, then it will be the second layer and so on. Now I have my number of layers created, all the layers created. Now I need function for adding objects to the renderer. So let me call the function renderer dot add objects, add to layer, add to layer to comma, sorry, layer and object. I'll be using e dot. Okay, table dot is insert is a function, is a Lua function. I'll be showing you its details now. Build dot and strt Lua. You can see, oh, this Lua.org, right? Okay, just get table dot insert. Lua.org. There's some problem with the site. Here I used to check whether this function is right or not. Okay, you can see here table dot insert the table and the value. Okay, table position value or table value. So I'll be adding table value to our function, table position value or table value. So where is it? I'll be adding my table, which is renderer dot layer of layer comma the object. Okay, now I added table dot insert layer layer of mm, the name layer is not quite right. Number mm, layer layer number. Yes, okay. Well, value value object. Okay, layer value. I am adding this object to this layer. Let me keep I. Okay, now it's perfect. Now this is the function add to layer, which will be adding a object to the layer table, to the layer to a layer in the layer table. Now I time is to print this function. So renderer dot, let me keep draw, because we need to draw this layer on the screen. When this function renderer dot draw is called, or I is equal to 1 to number of layers same. Okay, number of layers, do the following. Now for I in value pairs, table name. In this we have to mention the name of the table, which will be render that layer of I. So I stands for index, pairs of index pairs. Now I'll be calling with index I. Now I'll be having each and every element of this table index by index. I pairs of pairs. Okay, it's I pairs. Value in I pairs of, how I have to print the layer. So mm, let me draw. Okay, let me add the draw function later on, because I'll be the object will be of type tile. I mean square, or it can be of circle also. So to draw that object to this layer, I'll be adding this functionality in the upcoming videos. Now this is the basic renderer. Inside this we'll be having our draw statements, and this is how you have to create layers for renderer and so on. Okay, let me call this renderer in the main function and check whether this code is working perfectly. Now let's create local renderer. Okay, require. Okay, let me cut this local require. Let me call this renderer. Copy project path and it's done. Now, when I am adding this renderer will be having this renderer table because I'm returning this renderer then. So when I call this renderer.lua, I am getting renderer as returned. So I can call renderer.create with number of layers. Let me say 5, right? Renderer equal to renderer.create create function number of layers. So small c create renderer.create 5. Now I will be having my renderer in this place. I will be having my renderer inside this renderer and I will be performing draw function like renderer.draw. Mm, dot draw. That's it. Let me try to run this project. Having an error. Uh, renderer bin slash renderer.lua not found. Wait a minute. So let me renderer.lua.lua. Okay, then this is correct. What what do I have here? Require mm, file package preloaded. Okay. Okay, let me refer with my previous projects. Main.lua open with notepad require mm, double quotes renderer. I think it's correct with what I've done. Oh, there's no need for renderer.lua. Just need to use require bin slash renderer. Okay, it's working perfectly. Now, as this program runs, then my draw function is working perfectly. I didn't test this, but I'll be adding objects to the layer when I create each and every objects on spot, then okay, this function works perfectly. Okay, that's it guys for today's video. I'll be talking about mm, okay, I'll be talking about now. We have completed about drawing the picture on the screen. Now we have to compute the objects on the screen. So in the next video I'll be talking about the game loop. I'll be creating a game loop similar to this underwear, and I'll be showing you how, I'll be showing you its value by running it live. Okay, before I create a game loop, in the next video I'll be creating a rectangle object so we can test this render out. Thank you guys.